news presented by Ayrece Stewart. Good morning, Ayrece.
Good morning, Sophie.
The headlines.
Confidential report exposes secret experiments on dogs and cats carried out under MSO's watch in violation of Mauritian animal welfare laws. Former Gender Equality Minister Kalpana Kunju-Shah faces court in Pamplemousse after provisional charge of shoplifting. Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam to meet with Governor Rama Sitanen to finalize resignation from the Bank of Mauritius. Mauritius represented at the 80th UN General Assembly in New York by Foreign Affairs Minister Ritesh Ramphal, with key talks to focus on AGOA and customs duties. 3 separate assaults take place in 24 hours across Mauritius, with nightclub shooting in Grand Bay, bus driver attacked on duty and stabbing on the metro. In world news, European airports struggle to recover from cyber attack on check-in systems. And in sports, Mauritian Olympic Committee avoids suspension by the International Olympic Committee after compromise is reached, clearing the way for long-delayed elections. A confidential report kept hidden until now is casting a harsh light on the practices of the Mauritius Society for Animal Welfare. Authored by Rubina Jabu, a former board member, the document reveals that between 2019 and 2020, the MSO approved a secret agreement with the company Cling Global Mauritius. This agreement allowed for experiments to be carried out on dogs and cats placed under the institution's care, animals the MSO was entrusted to protect. The report highlights that these experiments not only contradicted the very mission of the organization, but also violated Mauritian laws on animal welfare. What was meant to be a sanctuary for vulnerable animals, the report suggests, became instead a site of practices that were both ethically questionable and legally prohibited. Ashibachu tells us more.
We can, without fear of exaggeration, speak here of a state scandal. The report before us is chilling. It dates back to April 2022 and is signed by Rubina Jabu, a member of the MSO at the time of the events. This report, which had until now been carefully concealed, describes a multi-phase process of experimentation. The first phase consisted of the euthanasia of 100 stray dogs, on which blood samples and necropsies were carried out. The second phase involved the adoption of 38 dogs as well as cats by one Alexander Noel, a veterinarian with the programmed euthanasia of these animals as the final point of the study. These experiments, it must be emphasized, are in total violation of the Animal Welfare Act of 2013 and of the Animal Welfare Experiment on Animals Regulations of 2017. The report highlights several serious breaches. The first is that Cling Global and Dr. Alexander Noel never obtained authorization from the Ministry of Agro-Industry to carry out such studies. The second is that the 2017 regulations allow animal experimentation only on macaques, rabbits, mice and rats, certainly not on dogs and cats. By approving the project without the approval of the Ministry of Agro-Industry, the MSO acted ultra-vires, that is, beyond its legal powers. This is clearly a case of abuse of power. The scandalous nature of the affair is further compounded by attempts at concealment and disinformation revealed by the investigation. A confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement was signed between the former president of the MSO, Arun Binda, and the company Cling Global, indicating a deliberate intent to hide the facts. What's more, Arun Binda had publicly stated in the press at the time that the experiments concerned only dog excrement and that the Ministry of Agro-Industry was aware. Claims the report directly refutes. The investigation also reveals that Dr. Alexander Noel donated between 150,000 and 250,000 rupees worth of medication to the MSO, raising questions about a possible exchange of services in order to gain unlimited access to the animals. For the report's signatory, Rubina Jabu, it seems clear that this adoption was a mere pretext, allowing the animals to be used and then euthanized.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Agro-Industry, Arvind Bulal, says he has taken note of certain elements in the dossier, saying that both MSO and Cling Global Mauritius acted in violation of the law under the previous government, actions he describes as serious. He announced that the organization's new director will file a complaint and those responsible will have to answer for their actions. Former Minister of Gender Equality and Family Welfare Kalpana Kunjusha is due in the Pamplemousse court this morning following her provisional charge of shoplifting. She was arrested on Friday after a complaint from an employee at Carrefour Richetier. According to the complaint, while monitoring surveillance cameras, the employee noticed a woman taking cosmetic products and placing them in a bag inside her trolley. The woman then went to the checkout and left without paying for the items. Kalpana Kunjusha denies any theft, claiming it was an inadvertent mistake. She is being represented by lawyers Ravi Ratna and Akash Omiya. Prime Minister Dr. Navin Ramgoolam will meet this Monday with Rama Sitanen to finalize details of his departure from the Bank of Mauritius. On Saturday, Sitanen, who has served as governor since November 16, 2024, confirmed in an exclusive statement to the MBC that he had agreed in principle to step down. This followed the unequivocal declaration by the Prime Minister at an earlier press conference. Dr. Ramgoolam described the situation as untenable and confirmed that he had given Rama Sitanen 48 hours to submit his resignation. More on this report by Didier Rose, read by Ashi Bachu.
In his statement, Ramasitanen specified that he was resigning in the best interest of the central bank and for the stability of the institution. He also indicated that his resignation would become official next week after a fair hearing. This decision comes in the wake of a controversy sparked by exchanges between his son, Tevin Sitanen, and several political figures. These exchanges created a conflation between Ramasitanen's private life and his institutional role. To ensure continuity and stability at the bank, the Prime Minister announced that as of this Monday, he would appoint a second deputy governor before proceeding with the nomination of a new governor.
It will be a busy week for the Mauritian delegation as it heads today to New York for the 80th United Nations General Assembly. The Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, had originally planned to attend but cancelled his trip due to pressing state matters. Mauritius will instead be represented at the summit by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Until September 29, Ritesh Ramphal will participate in a series of high-level meetings as well as bilateral talks with several countries, including the United States, where discussions are expected to focus on customs duties and the AGOA trade framework. And in other news, in just 24 hours, 3 violent assaults took place. In Grand Bay, a street fight broke out outside the nightclub Safari in the early hours of Sunday morning. A video shared online shows a man opening fire while others wielded machetes. The suspected shooter has been identified as Cedric Bégué. A bus driver from the National Transport Corporation was also violently attacked while on duty. Treated at ENT hospital, he has since been discharged but will require surgery later this week. And in the metro, a 35-year-old man was stabbed and rushed to the hospital. Transport Minister Osman Mohamed reacted firmly, describing these acts as unacceptable and assuring that the government will no longer tolerate such violence on public transport. And it's 9:08. You're listening to RM1, where we move international, where European airports were beginning to recover on Sunday from a cyber attack that disrupted check-in systems, causing major delays and cancellations. But at least one major hub warned of further cancellations today. Brussels Airport said almost 1/5 of Sunday's departures have been cancelled and asked airlines to cut up to 50% of departures on Monday as technical issues persisted. Other hubs said they were managing passenger flows while attempting to fix the software problems. London Heathrow, Europe's busiest airport, said in a statement that the vast majority of flights continue to operate thanks to close cooperation with airlines. And finally, in sports, the Mauritian Olympic Committee has avoided imminent suspension by the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. A compromise was reached on Saturday after the Mauritius Tennis Federation withdrew its ongoing legal cases. Additionally, the federations of modern pentathlon and roller and skate, whose participation in the elections had been contested, have reached an agreement, with the upcoming signing of a document to formalize the settlement, supervised by the Ministry of Youth and Sports and a representative of the IOC. The elections of the Mauritian Olympic Committee can finally be held, ensuring the continuity and stability of the institution. That's all from me this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned now to the Intimate playlist